go ahead and get started, and something I failed to do, I'm gonna do it today. This meeting is being recorded, so as a public service and a governmental transparency, we are being recorded, streamlined live to be accessed at a later date or right now. And this may include video and audio of all people present, so as long as we all know the ground rules. The meeting's been called to order. We've got our first item, and it doesn't take very long for the audience. We're gonna re-elect a chairman and a vice chairman tonight, so it shouldn't take too long to do that. So without further ado, I am willing, the chairman and vice chairman shall be elected from among the commission members at the first scheduled meeting in January. That's today. And so what we'll do, you can nominate yourself, you can nominate someone else, and I believe Dawn's gonna keep track of all the nominations. I saw your hand
Can I go
going.
ahead and nominate somebody?
You may, please do.
I would like to nominate Cynthia Ball for chairman.
Thank you. Great, does not need a second. Does anyone else like to nominate? I would like to nominate Kevin for the chairman. And are there any other, do we vote, we do the vice chair separately? I'm guessing, okay. So any other nominations for the chairman of the board? All right. Everybody gets one vote. So we'll call for Cindy. Everybody that wants Cindy, please raise your hand.
Do we do
It's a
roll
roll
call?
call.
Oh, is it a roll
Roll
call?
call.
Okay, let's call the roll.
Yeah. Maureen,
Oh, Cindy?
Kathy,
Cindy.
Gabe,
Cindy.
Mike,
Kevin?
Kevin,
Cindy.
Cynthia.
Apparently it's Cindy.
You gonna vote for Cindy?
I'll vote for Cindy.
All right.
Thank you. That was unexpected.
Congratulations. Thank you.
We'll see.
That's great. All right, next up is our vice chairman that Gabe currently has. I will nominate Gabe for the vice chairman. Kevin?
I don't have any.
Nobody? Vice chair? Anybody? Typically the one that's been here the second longest in the group.
Sir, okay.
I've been here the second longest?
No, but you got nominated.
Oh, fair enough, all right.
Although, okay, we'll do a roll call.
Maureen,
Gabe?
Kathy,
Gabe.
Gabe,
Gabe.
Mike, Kevin, Cindy.
Gabe.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
And when do we give Cindy the gavel?
Right
Right now.
Are you serious?
Congratulations.
Oh, this seems wrong.
No preparation,
Yeah,
happened to
no,
me too.
no.
Follow your agenda, you'll be fine.
Don't
Just
worry,
roll
we'll
my
have a
agenda.
meeting soon.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Good to go, look at that.
That's unexpected. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. We can submit disappointed comments later on in the year. Agenda item 3, citizen comments. These are comments that are not related to the public hearing scheduled later on. Do we have any public comments? Anyone that would like to speak to the commission? Dawn, anything in email?
Not for this.
Okay. All right, moving on then. Approval of December 27th, 2023 meeting minutes. Everybody get an opportunity?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve those as written.
And I will second that. All right, a vote to approve the December 27th meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Minutes pass. Item 5 is a public hearing and subsequent deliberation and direction to staff regarding the reasoned statement for conditional use permit application of CUP 23-6 by applicant Steve Carlton. This is an action item. The application, so do I follow the notes? Do I talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so, the applicant requests conditional use permit approval for a multifamily dwelling, adding one detached dwelling unit to a 0.462 acre parcel that currently contains two dwelling units, a duplex, located at 3431 7th Street in a low-density residential R2A zoned district. Multifamily dwellings meet the standards of Lewiston City Code 37-124 .1 and are allowed as a conditional use in the low-density residential R2A zone. This is a quasi-judicial matter. So the hearing process, as it's bulleted here for me, is that we will have a staff member, in this case it's Katie, open the public, I guess I open the public hearing. We have the staff presentation, and then we will ask the applicant to come forward and present or speak to the issue. And then following that, we will bring forward any for or against public feedback, either present or written. And then the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut or address those concerns, and then we will close the public hearing and deliberate as a group on the motions. And we'll move from that point forward. So I turn it over to Katie. I have to what? Okay, oh, is this?
That's it.
I'm gonna be opening our public hearing as of now.
Good evening, Commission. Katie Langford, Assistant Planner. Erin, can you pull up my PowerPoint, please? Thank you, sir. All right, so this is conditional use permit 23-6. So this is multifamily in an R2A zone, a third unit on an existing lot with two units. So, like usual, we're gonna go through some maps and some photos. So, subject property is outlined in red. Subject property is located at 3431 7th Street in the Orchards. It is approximately 0.462 acres or 20,136 square feet in size and currently contains a duplex and a detached accessory building. Surrounding properties are a mix of single-family dwellings and duplexes. I'll just point out on this map right here, you can see these properties that are kind of to the south east. These are duplexes. And then further, and you'll see this on the next map, there is also a PUD that is all duplexes just a little bit further east than this row of them right there. So then the same map with our zoning layers turned on. So you can see that bright green color is our R2A, low density residential zone. That kind of orangey yellow burnt umber color at the top of the page, that is our Bryan Avenue special planning area. And then over here, just east of the subject property, like I said, this is a planned unit development, and these are attached, like townhome condo types of deals, so they're duplexes with a 0 lot line in between. So lay of the land, so this is the existing duplex in green, as seen from 7th Street, so across the street, you can see that they already have concrete approach installed, they already have sidewalk installed. This is looking north along 7th Street, so again, sidewalk goes all the way down. And then looking south, sidewalk again goes all the way down to Burl. And then on the subject property itself, this is that existing duplex with its garages for each side. And then this is that detached accessory building that you could see in that map that's sort of like in the middle of the property. It's a long, skinny property. And then this is the portion of the property that is proposed to be that third dwelling unit. In the meeting packet that you were provided with, part of the application does have architectural drawings showing how that third unit would sit here. It would have its own single car garage, and it would be attached to this accessory structure that's already on the property. So as called out in our staff report, I'll go back to the map just so we can talk about size and stuff. So as called out in the staff report, it does already have that duplex. That was a remodel from a single family dwelling to a duplex in 2016. And the garages were added for each unit. In the R2A zone, a duplex requires 10,000 square feet of lot. And because the third unit is detached, the code requires that you need the same amount of space that you would for a single-family dwelling, which would be 7,500 square feet. So in total, 17,500 square feet total lot size. As I commented, and as shown on this map, the lot is 0.462 acres, which is 20,136 square feet. So it does meet that code and has a little bit to spare, obviously. I also did the math, and I believe I called that out specifically. In that R2A zone, you're allowed to do 40% of lot coverage. And so with the existing duplex, the proposed new single-family dwelling with its garage and the accessory building, we're looking at 27.8% lot coverage. So again, well underneath that maximum of 40%. Good use of a long, skinny lot that would not otherwise be able to be split and developed separately from that duplex. Maximum allowable density in that R2A zone, because it is a low-density residential zone, is 8.73 dwelling units per acre. So that's, a duplex on a 10,000 square foot lot gets you to that kind of math. So this application proposes, 3 dwelling units, which is a density of 6.49 dwelling units per acre. So again, well underneath that threshold of topping out. Like I said, dwelling unit is proposed to be to the east of that accessory structure. Currently, the property is owned by Steve Carlton. He owns a construction business. He keeps extra construction materials back there. So that, of course, would all be cleared out for that housing unit to be put in. As you can see in the application on the site plan that was provided, it meets all of the side yard, rear yard setbacks that are required in that zone. So there's a 20-foot rear yard. So it's still at least 20 feet from that eastern property line, 10 feet from the northern property line, and 5 feet from that interior southern property line as required by the zone. Proposed dwelling unit is a single-story unit, so again, will be under the 35-foot height limit, also a requirement of the zone. So as part of conditional use permit, it says, subject to the special conditions, as Cynthia read, and so that mostly comes to parking. So as shown on site plan, current duplex each has a 2-car garage, which satisfies the parking required for those 2 units. And then the applicant is proposing for a single-car garage for the 3rd unit with enough of a concrete apron on that garage to fit 2 additional parking spaces per parking stall standards. So would not need to do like a full paved parking lot, just based on the number of stalls that are required, and is providing more than enough, more than what is required. And you can see that there's still space in between right here. There's a camper parked here. I don't think I took a picture of that, but there is a large amount of space that's right here for additional parking, such as that camper or other recreational vehicles or additional vehicles if needed. And that would be considered overflow, so that would not be required to be. And with that, I would stand for questions.
I don't necessarily have anybody or any questions. Does Kevin?
Maybe I'm just not catching it or whatever, but it sounds, reading this, having read this and listening to you, it sounds like it meets all the requirements. What's the specific CUP? This might sound stupid, but what are we looking to do? What's the reasoning?
So in the R2A zone, a duplex is the most you can do.
Oh, okay, so it's the
because
additional
for
structure.
the 3rd
Gotcha.
unit,
Okay.
that is what pushes it into multifamily, and that is why we are.
And that's, I guess that's what I was thinking, but I
So
wasn't
yes,
sure.
it does meet all of the criteria, and that is outlined,
But just for
the reason
duplex,
for the
not
public
for-
hearing and the conditional use permit is because they're asking for that 3rd unit.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I was, clarification, thank you.
And if I'm not mistaken, Katie, I think somewhere in the in your report, there's discussion that it would not qualify to split the lot.
Correct, not wide enough to do a
Flag
flagpole
ladder,
plus the
yeah.
standard lot size.
Anyone else? Okay, Katie, thank you very much. So now do we have the applicant present? And I'll ask you to state your name and the city you live in, and then fire away.
Steve Carlton, 1103 Bright. I thought it was only like a year or two ago, I got a letter from the city, but I think Katie reminded me it was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
I was flying, I tell you.
2 years ago.
About putting another unit on that lot. And I do a lot of stuff, so I didn't really think much about it, and I thought, well, it's a mess back there, kind of clean it up, put a unit back there, so that's why we're here. Just, it's a perfect little spot back there, and just kind of clean up the mess and move on, make a nice little unit back there. We'll put it on the end of that shop. We use the shop kind of for rental stuff, you know. We own the 2-3 duplexes on the east side there, so just thought I'd make a nice little unit back there for a 2-bedroom unit. Clean up the neighborhood.
Marie?
Steve, I think Katie kind of outlined, but it sounds like you're really looking at providing ample parking for the residents and possibly some guests and things like that. I know 7th Street pretty well, and I know that it gets pretty crowded with on-street parking. So,
That shouldn't be a problem because we manage all our own places. We're pretty picky about rigs going in there. On another note there, the camper that's parked there is the tenant that lives in the other unit. We can't park there anyway because of the fire deal. And it's in front of the door anyway, so we wouldn't allow anybody to park right there anyway, so.
perfect, thank you.
I don't really see it's only gonna be a 2-bedroom unit, so, 1-car garage with another parking spot should be.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is the city solicited you to do this.
Well, I just got a letter, probably a lot of people got letters, but I just busy and didn't think much of it, and then I thought, well, it's just a catch-all back there, told Michelle, drop a unit back there, let's go do it, you know, something to keep the guys busy, so that's kind of how it came about.
I remember when the city sent them out, identifying anyone with property that could potentially do so. So thank you. Thank you for responding. Okay, I think now, Steve, it's an opportunity for any public feedback or support for this endeavor. Do we have anyone who would like to speak to this issue?
Here's the neighbor right here.
I can talk to
So I'll ask you to identify yourself and
Rich Casey, 3429 7th Street. Yeah, you know, Steve's been a great neighbor, and I just kind of wanted to see what the plans were for this. And we had talked about it a few months ago, because I received the same letter whenever that was, 3 years ago. So, and like I was telling him, really, because of the way the properties are divided, I'm probably the only neighbor that this affects at all other than his current tenants. And yeah, like I said, Steve's always been a great neighbor, and I don't have any issues with it at all. So I'm mainly here just to kind of see how everything was gonna be laid out, so.
thank you very much for coming forward. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the issue? And as a no, Dawn, do we have any written?
Yes. So this is from Tim Casper, here in Lewiston. And it says, Steve has done extremely nice work, but this is an email to express my concern about parking at this location. More and more vehicles are ending up parked in the street, and I know that is a public parking, but it makes it extremely difficult to park a trailer at my house when there are vehicles parked in the street. I have a toy hauler that I use quite regularly, and I want to make sure I can get it out or parked. If there are 3 or more vehicles across the way from me, I can't get it parked or out as it is long. So I want to make sure parking is addressed and more cars aren't ending up on the street.
Were there any others?
Let me double check my email just to make sure nothing's came in. That's it.
Okay, Steve, you do have an opportunity to address that. I believe you did answer that particular question earlier, but if you would like, you're more than welcome to come back to the podium.
I guess, which neighbor was it? Did I put it on?
Tim Casper.
Oh, okay, he's actually up just a little ways, I know Tim, so, I know the tenant in the front unit, his son, and he's got a new girlfriend, they park on the street there. They usually don't park, well, they do park in the driveway too, but they do park on the street. But he's up a little farther, so I don't know if that would be an issue there, but I'll say something to the tenants in the front unit there, because they shouldn't have that many rigs there anyway.
There was nothing in the letter identifying that it was specifically traffic or parking
Yeah, because I was
to
gonna
your
say, if they're
units.
parked right there, there's no neighbor directly across the street could actually pull in our driveway and back up. So, Tim could almost do the same thing, but I think, the guy on the corner, he's got a gate, so can't really pull in his driveway, but yeah, it's a public right of way, I guess, can't people where to park, so. It is, that street's narrow anyway. I drive it all the time, I mean, 10 times a day or more. So, I mean, you're kind of weaving in between cars, even though it's wide enough with the truck traffic from Seekins and ATK, I mean, and there's a lot of traffic on 7th Street, so it's just it is what it is. I don't think you can widen it any more than it already is.
Anyone? No follow-up? Okay, thank you again, Steve. I think at this point in time, the public hearing will be closed and we'll begin reviewing the criteria, correct? All right, there we go. Okay, so that I had the criteria up.
Yeah, so it should be the last page of your staff report.
I would like to note too, there's actually a 6th criteria that I
Okay.
just emailed you.
Do I have that on this thing?
Usually I attach the whole thing,
Oh.
and I don't remember why I did not on this one. but I did.
But I have it and I'll read it to you when you get to that point. That way you don't have to remember it now for later.
Now I gotta find it again, so.
It's page 28 on the PDF.
Thank you. I don't know where that rolled.
Page 11.
Relevant criteria, okay, here we go. Okay, so the first relevant criteria and standard. The proposed use will or will not result in conditions that will tend to generate nuisances such as noise, dust, glare, vibrations, and odors, or if so, any anticipated nuisances will be appropriately mitigated. And I think what I would like to do is start with Maureen and ask her, do you believe it will or will not?
I believe it will not result in conditions that will tend to generate nuisances. Like I said in my question, I think the only nuisance potentially would be a traffic situation, and I think that that's being addressed appropriately.
Thank you. Kathy?
Same. I believe it will not result in those conditions, and I believe it will be addressed.
Excellent. Gabe?
Same.
Michael?
We'll like that too.
I agree.
As do I. So it does pass that smell test, doesn't it? Number 2, the proposed use is or is not a public necessity. And, hang on a second.
This is the complicated part.
Here we go. And but is or is not justified by the applicant and deemed to be of benefit to the public. So we're gonna start with Kevin now.
Man,
mixing it up.
All right, so, I believe that it is, a public necessity, and going back to what this body has talked about for as long as I've been around here, is providing infill to, and housing, so, it is a public, necessity, and it is justified by the applicant to be, to deemed as a benefit to the public for those same reasons.
Excellent, thank you. Michael?
I'm on that same boat, and one of my reasons why is we really need some housing, so I really appreciate the efforts on that end.
Excellent. Gabe?
Sam, couldn't have said it better.
Same, and actually he responded to a call from the city to provide more housing.
And the biggest benefit, in my opinion, is that it is rental housing, which is of huge necessity in this valley, so.
So I'm going to mirror what Kathy said. He responded to a call from our community leaders, and I admire that greatly. So, number 2, it's good to go. Number 3, the character of the proposed use, if developed according to the plan as submitted, will or will not be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located. Kevin, how do you feel about that?
No, I feel that it will be in harmony, pretty much for the same reasons that I said just before, as far as infill and rental and, housing.
Excellent. Michael?
I'm in that same category. I think it's gonna be a great, if anyone's ever seen any of Mr. Carlton's properties, are absolutely beautiful, so it's just an asset to our community.
Excellent. Thank you.
Same.
Kathy?
I believe it's a higher and better use than what it is right now. It's kind of a junk pile, so I think it's in better harmony.
There we go.
Those piles can be invaluable sometimes.
Yes, I know, yes. Never look in my backyard. All right, Marie.
100%, I was going to exactly say what Kathy just added.
Excellent, and I will concur with that. Number 4, the proposed use will or will not endanger the environment or the public health and safety. Gabe, what's your feel?
I will say it will not endanger the environment or public health or safety. I think we've said ad nauseum that either city departments or anybody who's impacted has a chance to say that it will, and we haven't heard anything from them. So in my mind, it won't.
Excellent, thank you, Maureen.
I agree, and like we stated in the previous one, I think having a housing unit there is probably less dangerous than piles of stuff, because if kids are around, kids will wander.
It's not stuff if it's cool. Kathy?
Same. But yeah, it will not endanger the environment.
Excellent.
Definitely will not endanger them.
Will not.
All right, I agree. The 5th is the proposed use will or will not be in substantial conformance with the comprehensive plan. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here with my own opinion and say it is in conformance, primarily about housing. And I now open the floor to anyone to disagree. No?
Do you have a reason for that?
Yeah, so the plan which permits the duplex also through the city was identified as a space that could in fact support an additional unit. Not specific to the numbers that Mr. Carlton is putting together, but it was identified as one of the properties that could bear the burden of exactly what is being proposed before the commission. So that is why I believe it's within the comprehensive plan. It is providing housing which is in desperate shortage at this time. Michael?
I would like to say that I think it will be a substantial conformance. R2, it's under the threshold, it's under the height limit, making amends for the parking, so I don't see much else he could have done.
Excellent.
Thank you again.
Do we have more input?
I also would add to that I appreciate the fact that it is going to be a 2-bedroom, so for a starting family, that's really beneficial. I like the floor plan of it.
Well, after Katie gave her presentation, and Kevin wondered why in the world do we need a conditional use permit? It followed everything except for the fact that it turns it from into a multifamily. zone rather than which we need more housing, so that's my.
I agree, and not only does it, conform with the comprehensive plan, but it also, conforms with the new comprehensive plan that will be coming out by the end of this year, so, that is still being worked on, so.
We like it then. All right, we have one final criteria and standard that Jennifer's gonna read to us.
Okay, so, this is how it's worded. Pursuant to Idaho Code 67-6512, the CUP may be granted, subject to the ability of political subdivisions, including school districts, to provide services for the proposed use. And you can say it will or will not.
Okay, Maureen.
Wow, that's a mouthful and a half.
I wrote it down.
Knowing the location, because that's kind of my neighborhood as well, I think it conforms wonderfully with access to school, I see the school kids walking along there all of the time. And I don't see any issues with it whatsoever. I think that is a neighborhood where honestly, we need more family style housing for kids.
Nothing to add, sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Couldn't have said it better.
The Public Works, Engineering Department said it had no objections, and the fire department just has to weigh in and make sure everything's cool for the building permit, and I'm sure that they will, so I agree.
I agree, it will be in compliance, was that the question?
Yep.
Okay, so, as far as I can tell, we really have a big thumbs up on all of the criteria and standards that are presented to us. And hopefully Jennifer has all the justifications she needs. Somebody's got to document the justifications. So, I would be open to, yes, sir, Kevin?
I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to draft a reason statement approving CUP 23-6 for approval.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Excellent. So we have a motion on the table and a second. All those in favor of approving, yep, no?
You can allow for any additional discussion on the matter
Oh,
at this point.
Forgive me.
Or if anyone would like any amendments to the motion, they can do so before you take a vote.
Okay. Does anyone have amendments or additional comments that they would like to share? Okay, I think we're good to go. So I would like a vote. Aye for all those in favor of approving this conditional use permit as presented.
Aye.
Aye. Nobody's against, so I believe that the conditional use permit is now ready to move forward, is that correct? Look at me go. So we will direct the, it was, so staff will now write up the proposed reason statement, and I guess we'll see that next time.
Yes.
Okay. Steve, thank you very much. I guess that closes that portion of it. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
So that was, now it's just staff communications, Katie?
Okay.
Wait a minute, big reveal.
Uh-oh.
So we have received an application for our open commission seat. They have scheduled an interview for next Wednesday, the 17th at 12 o'clock. And I need to solicit at least one, but maybe two of y'all to attend, to be representatives to help with that interview process. So do I have any takers?
When is that?
Wednesday, the 17th, so next Wednesday at 12 o'clock here.
I can do it. Because you gave me at least enough lead time, I can schedule it. So,
If you need to, I could do it too.
Thank you. I
Thank
would,
you.
I would
And Kathy,
volunteer, but
Armand.
I got surgery, so I'm
Yeah,
taking
thank-
Thursday and Friday off, and so I should
Oh,
probably
yeah.
show up at the
Not a
office
problem.
at some point.
And it will be here
It's here, yes,
at 12 o'clock.
at 12 o'clock.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
just come to that front desk, 'cause I'm not positive if they'll do it up here, or if they'll do it in the downstairs room.
I'll put it in my calendar so I don't
Yeah,
forget.
and that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so that's one. Number two, query of commissioners for our January 24th meeting. We do have 2 public hearings scheduled. They're not application, they're for the zoning code amendments that you guys initiated at the last meeting, but we do have those scheduled and we've noticed. So, anyone unable to come on the 24th? Kevin's
I
not.
will not be in town,
Okay.
but I possibly could
Zoom.
Zoom or phone in.
Okay.
So, yeah, I gotta go to a meeting.
Dial it in then. Michael, you'll be, everybody
I will
else?
be here.
Okay, I believe yeah.
Okay, and then number 3, I think at like the beginning of December, no, I didn't do it. Hopefully Joel did it, so long ago, like I don't remember anymore. Either handed out or we emailed you a flyer regarding a volunteer appreciation event that the city is putting on for all of our boards and commissioners. So it is on Friday, February 2nd, from 6 to 7:30 at the library. And so I need
Just a second, I gotta write it in my calendar.
a general head count of my commissioners who would like to attend. It'll be kind of like open house style, where you can stop in, have a snack, grab a drink.
What date is it again?
Friday, February 2nd.
So all day long.
Groundhog Day.
No, from 6 to 7:30.
Full day. You're required to attend if you say yes.
6 to 7:30.
Should say all day.
So pop in, be appreciated, have a bite.
Appreciation.
Yes,
Kayla is planning it.
yes, the legal team is planning it.
Wow, so we'll be there.
Yeah, now we
Joel
really
will
have to
be
attend.
Yeah. And what time did you say again?
6 to 7:30.
6 at the library?
Yes. And my understanding is you could come any old time in that time frame. You don't have to come for the full hour and a half. It's not like a,
Right, it's an open house.
yes.
So is there, how does one appreciate, is there curtsying?
You know, I don't know.
Or meal.
I'm not planning it, but I think the food
It's
is.
probably gonna be
Where your
just
favorite
fun, just a
is.
little
Yeah, there you go.
visit
Let's
thing.
see what you
We
can
can't-
have.
I'm
She's
gonna have
gonna
a
be there to
Shorzy
make sure
moment.
we don't have a meeting
What I
while
appreciate
we're
is
there.
that.
Oh, yes.
No, I was just thinking.
4 of you
I
can't,
guess
or
it's
3 of you
technically
can't be
every
together.
day.
I was
Wow.
just thinking of Michael and how much I appreciate your guidance and leadership in the last year.
Yes.
So I appreciate y'all. I'll show up and hold up a drink.
You
can't
made,
talk
you,
shop.
you made my job really easy over
Somebody
the
gonna
last year,
spike
I'm just saying.
You didn't get to do it.
I know.
Right?
By showing up.
First booze.
There you go.
All right,
That's a super easy job.
Okay, so just a show of hands, who's gonna come? I'm supposed to give a head count for the food.
Probably should be there.
Okay, we're looking at everybody. Fantastic.
okay.
Can we bring the family too?
So spouse too,
No,
or just?
no, this is just for you guys.
Just for you to be appreciated.
You were not allowed to like put food in your pockets and walk away with it.
Sorry, I asked about the +1, and because of budget constraints, it's just for,
It'd be kind of fun though,
Commissioners or
cause,
board
you know, mingle with the other commissions.
yeah, and it
Well,
will be
that
all of our boards and
definition
commissions, so.
So, that said, is that all the staff and
That's all
commission?
3.
All the communications we have, people?
Vice Chairman,
Most, yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we adjourn.
I love them
Second.
For that, I love them both for that. May I hear the ayes in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Hey,
Yeah.
bingo.
Nice job.
Okay,
Look at
Don't
that.
forget to exit out.
That's right. Don't do that.
okay.
What?